I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, November the 14th, 2014. After a trilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Jordanian King Abdullah in Amman, Jordan yesterday, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry announced that the three had agreed on a plan to end the violence and tension in Jerusalem. Kerry did not provide many details. He did, however, say that he had received assurances from Israel, the Palestinians, and Jordan to de-escalate tensions over the Temple Mount. Ynet reports that Kerry also said that the parties had spoken to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who said that Egypt was willing to work to help Israel and the Palestinians reach peace. Kerry said achieving calm in the area was the first step before any peace talks could take place. The holy site remained relatively quiet today. Israel lifted previously imposed age limits for Muslim worshippers to access the Temple Mount, which has been the center of Palestinian protest over the last few weeks. Heavy rioting, however, was reported in several Arab towns across the West Bank today. And Israel police were looking into claims that an 11-year-old Palestinian boy was hit in the face by a sponge bullet fired by IDF forces during clashes in the Isawiya neighborhood of East Jerusalem yesterday. The boy is being treated at Hadassah Hospital in Ein Kerem and was said to be in serious condition. Police said the investigation was ongoing. Spain's parliament plans on holding a vote next week to recognize a Palestinian state. The vote, which is set to take place Tuesday, was proposed by the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party. It is non-binding and largely symbolic, similar to the recent vote in Britain's parliament last month. Israel rejects such unilateral actions and maintains that the only way to achieve a two-state solution and lasting peace with the Palestinians is through direct negotiations between the parties. We had reported to you earlier this week that lawmakers in France will vote later this month on a similar proposal to recognize a Palestinian state. And today, CRIF, France's Federation of Jewish Organizations and Communities, reacted, saying passage of the vote could only worsen anti-Semitism in the country and urged French lawmakers to reject the motion. CRIF stated in France after the anti-Semitic riots this summer, this declaration will certainly not be interpreted as a peace initiative and risks exacerbating the anti-Semitic tensions which we saw last summer. Germany's Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier is coming to Israel. He is scheduled to meet with Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Rivlin, and other Israeli officials in Jerusalem and with Palestinian Authority officials in Ramallah tomorrow. Steinmeier spoke yesterday at the International Conference on Anti-Semitism in Berlin, where he warned that hatred of Jews was on the rise once more in his country and across Europe, and that pro-Palestinian demonstrators had used the recent Gaza conflict to justify anti-Semitic behavior. And Greek Ambassador Spiridon Lampardis addressed the relevance of remembering the atrocities of the past at a memorial this week in Tel Aviv, remembering Greek Jews killed during the Holocaust. Speaking Wednesday night at a joint event of Beit HaTfutzot, the Museum of the Jewish People, and the Jewish Museum of Greece, the ambassador said Nazism, racism, anti-Semitism, and social intolerance have no place in our modern democratic societies, and vowed that individuals and countries should not and would not tolerate a second hatching of intolerance in Greece, in Europe, or anywhere else. The Associated Press reports that a bipartisan group of lawmakers in the U.S. have introduced legislation to end Social Security benefits to suspected Nazi war criminals. The Nazi Social Security Benefits Termination Act follows an investigative report by the AP last month, if you recall, claiming that through a legal loophole, the U.S. Justice Department's former Nazi hunting unit used the leverage of paying benefits to help in convincing Nazi suspects to leave the country and to get around long deportation hearings, ultimately increasing the number of Nazis expelled. The new legislation was sponsored by Democratic Representative Carolyn Maloney, along with Republican Representatives Jason Chaffetz of Utah and Leonard Lance of New Jersey. Maloney said we should work in a bipartisan and expeditious manner to terminate these benefits once and for all. A companion bill is due to be introduced in the Senate, sponsored by Democratic Senators Bob Casey of Pennsylvania, Chuck Schumer of New York, and Bill Nelson of Florida. National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Abe Foxman, welcomed the legislation, saying it was long overdue. And looking at some entertainment news, Jewish comedian and actress Sarah Silverman will be visiting Israel next month. According to Israeli daily Yediot Aharonot, Silverman will be a special guest at the Jerusalem Jewish Film Festival in December and will attend a gala screening of her stand-up comedy show on HBO, Sarah Silverman, We Are Miracles, for which she received an Emmy Award earlier this year. The festival runs from December the 16th to the 23rd at the Jerusalem Cinematheque. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, November the 14th. Remember, live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.